Class, this week we're going to have a continuation of week's four topic of block ciphers. So we're going to be talking about applications, we're going to be talking about different methods, we're going to be talking about different techniques. We're going to talk about quantum computing. Some AI will be in part of this lecture, so I think this is going to be pretty cool. So let's jump right into it and start talking about the applications. For this first one, we're going to be talking about a one-time pad, or an OTP, as I'll refer to it as. And you may ask me, what is this one-time pad? Well, a one-time pad, or an OTP, is a symmetric encryption technique that provides perfect secrecy when implemented correctly. It uses a random key of the same length as a plain text and a XORs. It with the plain text to generate ciphertext. So an OTP has a property of perfect security, a perfect secrecy, revealing no information about the original text, about the plain text. However, a practical challenge, such as a secure key generation, distribution, and storage, makes an OTP suitable for niche applications like secure military communications or extremely sensitive data encryption. And then on the flip side of it, we have something called a many time pad, which refers to the incorrect use of a one time pad encryption technique, where the same key is used multiple times. Reusing the key in this manner compromises security of the encryption. So when an attacker intercepts multiple ciphertexts encrypted with the same key, a statistical analysis and a pattern exploration can potentially lead to the decryption of the ciphertext. So, in other words, if you use the same key over and over again, eventually a hacker will find out that there's a pattern using statistical analysis. And then from there on, anytime that you then send any more communication, they'll just believe that you're going to use the same key, which you might, and then actually use that information to decrypt it going forward, and it makes your data less secure. All right, perfect. Let's have some quiz questions next. So this quiz question is actually going to challenge your understanding of a one-time pad encryption techniques. So the question is, what is the key requirement for achieving perfect secrecy within the one-time pad encryption technique? Is it A, randomness, B, slow encryption speed, C, statistical analysis vulnerability, or D, large key storage requirement? So let's go on and what's some of the things that can't be it. So we know that slow encryption speed is not one. The large key storage is another one that's not it. So between A and C, so to achieve perfect secrecy, we need it to be random. It needs to be random, it cannot be found. Okay, perfect. So next question is, what is the main vulnerability associated with many time pads? So is it a key generation complexity? Is it slow encryption speed? Is it statistical analysis vulnerability? Is it large key storage requirement? So we also know that the key generation complexity is not a vulnerability. We understand that a large key storage requirements could potentially be a vulnerability, but that's not the main one. And then the statistical analysis vulnerability is going to be the correct answer in this situation, just because we understand that, um, as we mentioned before, when using we're using the same key can actually, so we're using the same key multiple times, and a many time pad a introduces vulnerability to statistical analyses. So an attacker could potentially decrypt the ciphertext by exploiting patterns resulting from a key being reused. So that's why C is the correct answer in this situation. And the next one for this one is, this quiz question will actually evaluate your understanding of the properties of a one-time pad encryption technique. So what properties does a one-time pad encryption technique provide when used correctly? So is it a small key size? No, we know that. Is it low computational complexity? Nope. Is it perfect secrecy? Potentially. Is it fast encryption speed? Between the two, I say that B is the best. Perfect. So in this section, we're actually going to be talking about asymmetric key block ciphers. So asymmetric key ciphers or public key cryptography represents a significant advancement in cryptography. Unlike symmetric key ciphers, which uses the same key for both encryption and decryption, asymmetric key ciphers uses two different keys, one for public and one for private. Next, we're going to be talking about the RSA algorithm and its use. One of the most well-known and widely used public key crypto systems is the RSA algorithm. RSA security comes from the computational difficulties of factoring large numbers into their prime components, a problem for which no effective solution is known on a normal computer. When the keys are generated in a RSA, two large prime numbers are multiplied together. The public and private keys are deprived from this product and the original primes. Decrypting the message means factoring in this product to retrieve the original primes, a task which is considered computationally infeasible given the size of the numbers provided. So, what does that even mean? So, for RSAs, it is secure email communication. RSA is extensively used in secure email communication, a critical requirement in today's digital world. Let's consider an example. Let's consider Alice and Bob wants to send a secure email to Bob. Here's an RSA that can facilitate this. So Bob generates a pair of keys, both public and private, and shares his public key with Alice, while keeping his private key secure and a secret. Alice uses Bob's public key to encrypt the email. This encrypted email can now only be decrypted using Bob's private key. Bob receives the encrypted email and uses his private key to decrypt the message and read Alice's email. In this way, RSA ensures that even if somebody intercepts the communication, they cannot decipher the email content without Bob's private key, which is not shared to Alice. This mechanism is the base for many forms of secure communication on the internet, not just email, and shows how vital RSA and public key cryptography are for the secure and privacy of digital communication. Next, we're going to be talking about something more theoretical. So, one interesting discussion surrounding RSA in the recent years is the potential threat posed by advancement in quantum computing. So quantum computing, once they're fully developed, could potentially break an RSA encryption. This is because a quantum computer can run higher levels of algorithms, which can theoretically factor large numbers much more effectively than a known algorithm on a classic computer. This factorization is precisely the hard problem that RSA security relies on. If RSA can be broken in this way, it raises many concerns about the security of the much. Actually, if this can be broken, what happens is that it destroys the fundamental infrastructure of existing digital communication, as RSA and similar public keys encryption methods are extensively used for secure communication over the internet. However, it's important to note that a fully functioning quantum computer's capability of breaking RSAs are not yet available, and it's still a topic of research when they will be. In the meantime, this threat can be more used in research into what's known as the post-quantum uh, cryptography. So, post-quantum cryptography aims to develop new cryptographic systems that could resist potential quantum computers' attacks. So, ensuring the security of a digital communication even in a world where the communication does not yet exist. Perfect. Next, let's move on to some quiz questions. So let's test your understanding of the implementation of quantum computing in RSA encryption. So, which of the following best describes a potential impact of quantum computing on an RSA encryption? Is it quantum computing will make RSA encryption stronger? Quantum computing will have no impact on RSA encryption. C. Quantum computing could potentially break RSA encryptions. Or D. Quantum computing will make RSA encryption obsolete immediately. The correct answer is C. Quantum computing could potentially break RSA's encryptions. Quantum computers, when fully developed, has the potential to effectively factor large numbers using Schrodinger's algorithm, thereby breaking RSA's security fundamentals. However, as mentioned before, this potential is a future situation and has not been fully developed and is still right now considered a theoretical thing. So the correct answer, as mentioned, is, let me take out the pen, C. Perfect. Next, we're going to be talking about the algomal. The algomal encryption system is another public key cryptographic system. It was designed by Tahir Algol in 1985 and is based on the Diffie-Hellman key exchange protocol. The Algol system operates on a discrete logarithm and in a finite field, a mathematical problem considered computationally difficult to solve. So this makes it computationally secure against an attacker who doesn't have knowledge of the public key. One significant advantage of the algorithm is that it provides security, which makes it resistant to certain types of cryptanalysis. However, a downside to algorithm is that it is more computational intensive than other public key crypto systems. This means it requires more computational resources and time to encrypt and decrypt messages compared to something like the RSA. So let's consider a practical use of the algorithm system in the form of digital signatures. Imagine Alice wants to send a document to Bob in a way that Bob can be sure it is genuinely came from Alice and not a hacker, and that it hasn't been tampered with during this transmission. Alice will generate an algorithm key pair, keeping her private key secure and making her public key available to Bob and potentially others. Alice would then create a digital signature for the document using her private key. When Bob receives the document and the signature, he can use Alice's public key to verify the signature. If it verifies correctly, then Bob can be confident that the document was indeed signed by Alice and hasn't been altered since Alice signed it. This application of Ogmal's system thus provides a method for ensuring that the authenticity and the integrity of a signed document. One significant advantage of Ogmal is that it provides the semantic security, which makes it resistant to certain types of cryptanalysis, as mentioned. But again, however, a downside of Ogmal is that it is more of a computational intensive. So next, let's jump over to a quiz question about Ogmal encryptions. It is also a very hard thing to pronounce over and go over again, so my apologies. In which situation could the Ogmal encryption systems be useful? So is it a digital signature for verifying documents and authentication? Secure web browsing using SSL or TLS? C. Secure communication between a web browser and a web signature? Or D. Encrypting email communications? So with that, let's test your understanding of the Ogmal encryption systems. And the correct answer is option A, digital signature for verifying documents authentication. Algol can be used for digital signatures, as we mentioned in the previous slide, whereas a sender signs a document with a private key, and then anyone with access to the sender's public key can verify the authenticity of the signature. This ensures the identity of the signature. This ensures the identity of the sender and the integrity of the document, to ensuring that nobody has tampered with it since then. Perfect. Next, we're going to go on to what is called the elliptic curve cryptography, or the ECC, as you will hear me refer to it as. So the ECC is a type of public key cryptography that uses the mathematicals of elliptic curves to provide strong, secure security with relatively small key sizes. This makes ECC more efficient than the RCA because it can achieve small levels of security with shorter keys, meaning it requires less computational resources. So the ECC is becoming increasingly popular and is used in a variety of modern security systems. For example, it is used in the secure web browsing, whereas ECC-based SSL and TLS certifications can provide secure communication between a web browser and a web server. It is also used in secure email systems where an ECC key pair can be used to encrypt and sign email communications. Moreover, many cloud services providers actually use ECC to secure data stored and transferred in the cloud environment. So, for an example, when you visit a website that begins with the HTTPS colon dash or backslash backslash, you're communicating with the site that is being used with by SSL and TSL, a protocol using a public key cryptography to ensure that the privacy and integrity of your data. ECC is often used as a part of this protocol. Consider a website owner. Let's call him Bob. I love Bob. Bob would generate an ECC key pair and use the private key to create a certificate, signing requests for an SSL and a TLS certificate. This request would include the public key this would include the public key, would be sent to a certificate um, authenticator, or a CA, who, upon a verifying that Bob's ownership of the site, would then issue an SSL TLS certificate linked to the public key. Bob will then install the certificate on his web browser. So, in plain terms, what this means is that if you have a website, you create a website and you want to get authenticated for security, because the HTTPS, the S in that statement means secure, you need to go through this staging of providing your public key and then a authorizer, a CA, or in some examples like GoDaddy does this. They would issue a ownership of the site and make sure that it is given the S of the HTTPS, which makes your site secure. A lot of people actually move away from going onto a site without the S, and websites will actually indicate if it's not secure. Okay, next, so ECC adoption in internet security. ECC has gained a lot of traction in the field of internet security because ECC offers an advantage in terms of efficiency and security with short-term key lengths. So internet companies are increasingly adopting ECC in their systems to enhance security. For example, a major company like Google has embraced ECC as a part of their security infrastructure. This adoption highlights the growing recognition of ECC's benefits in protecting sensitive data and ensuring secure communication. Furthermore, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, the NIST, which we talked about it before, has encouraged the use of ECC over the RSA for government communication. This move reflects the industry's recognition of ECC's potential to provide robust security measures while considering computational resources. So, with all that, we're going to jump into a quiz question here. Let's talk about which of the following statement best describes the adoption of ECC in the security and internet security. Is it that ECC has become the standard encryption method for all internet communication? B, ECC offers the same level of security as RSA with a longer key length. C, major internet companies like Google have embraced ECC to enhance security. D, the National Institute of Standard and Technology (NIST) has deprecated the use of ECC in the government communication. So if you got the correct answer, then you would have selected C. Google has embraced this ECC to enhance security. Now think about why the other ones aren't correct. So the last one, D, says deprecated. This isn't true because we understand that the NIST actually promotes this. So there's no way that they would deprecate it. Now, ECC offers the same length security as a RSA with longer key length. We understand that this is incorrect because this is actually supposed to be shorter. That's what an ECC is. It is actually shorter key length. And then we know that A is not correct because ECC has become the standard encryption for method for all internet communication. Um, it hasn't been the standard for all of them. There are still communications that doesn't rely on ECC and still uses RSA. So because of that, A is incorrect as well. Perfect. Now let's jump on to the next slide. So block ciphers versus stream ciphers, round one. So block ciphers and stream ciphers are two types of symmetric encryption algorithms with distinct characteristics. So block ciphers work on a fixed size blocks of data, while stream cipher encrypts data bit by bit. That becomes important later. We also discuss how block ciphers are ideal for encrypting a large amount of data and parallel processing. Stream ciphers, on the other hand, excel in real-time encryption and on-the-fly encryption of streaming data. Block ciphers uses modes operating like the CBC or the ECB to handle arbitrary data. So hybrid encryption streams leverages both block and stream ciphers for flexibility and enhancing security. So understanding the differences between block ciphers and stream ciphers allows us to select the appropriate encryption model and method for specific use cases, considering the factors such as the data size, real-time requirements, and parallel processing. So let's think about this block ciphers versus stream ciphers round two. Um, so now let's actually explore the typical use cases for these streams ciphers and block ciphers, as they each have their strengths and applications in different scenarios. Stream ciphers are often employed when real-time encryption or on-the-fly encryption of stream data is required. Some common cases for this stream ciphers include the secure voice or the video call stream. So if we do like video chats, so stream ciphers are well suited for encrypting voice or video calls in real time, ensuring the confidentiality of the communication. Real-time communication protocols is one. So then stream ciphers find applications in messaging applications or real-time communication protocols that require encryptions of data as it is being transmitted. Another one is wireless network security, where stream ciphers are commonly used to secure wireless network communication, protecting the data transmitted over the Wi-Fi or other Wi-Fi or wireless protocols. On the other hand, block ciphers are typically used in scenarios that involve encrypting a large amount of data or handling arbitrary size data. Some common uses of these block ciphers include disk encryption. So, block ciphers are utilized in full disk encryption solutions, securing the data stored on the hard drive or other storage devices. Another one is a file encryption. So, block ciphers are employed in this file encryption tool, enabling users to encrypt individual files or folders for enhanced privacy and security. Another one is secure communication protocols. So, block ciphers play a crucial role in secure communication protocols like SSL and TLS, ensuring the confidentiality and the integrity of the data transmitted over the internet. And then another one for this example is a secure storage systems. So block ciphers are used to protect data in secure storage systems or databases, safeguarding sensitive information. By understanding the significant strength and applications of stream ciphers and block ciphers, we can choose the appropriate encryption method for different use cases, taking on considerable factors such as real-time requirements, data size, and security needs, as mentioned before.